Happy New Year and welcome to the very first live coaching of 2023. How are you doing? How's your year going? What are your goals for the year? What are your windsurfing goals for the year? Have you thought about those goals yet? If not, start thinking about them. I'm going to create a banner so people know to think about them. What are your 2023 windsurfing goals? All right, there we go. That's the topic at the moment. Happy New Year. Welcome to the first live coaching of 2023. Did you sail this week? I didn't sail. I actually got very sick. I completely lost my voice. It's almost back, but I was reduced to whispering, like, and hand signals. I completely lost my voice. And I'm recovering. I'm almost better. I still have some congestion and my voice isn't fully back, but that's boring. I want to hear about you. Did you sail this week? What are your goals for 2023? What are your windsurfing goals for 2023? I think this is a good time to reflect on last year and what went well, what you'd like to change, and then what are your goals for 2023? So how can you take what worked last year and put it into this new year, and take what didn't work last year and leave it there? I think, uh, yeah, I think that we can all do things a little bit different. I want to hear what you guys are up to and what your goals are. All right, chat. Hey, Eric. Eric wants to learn the Vulcans and forwards. Well, I'm doing the Vulcan course. I know that you know about it. That will come out soon. Jorg, Happy New Year. Dom Dom, Tomas. Jorg has the goal to be 4 days on the water during the week. That is a great goal. Ambitious goal. I like it. Max, Happy New Year to you as well. And Suna, what are your goals for 2023? And when you reflect on those goals, I want you to think about what you liked about 2022's windsurfing and what you didn't like. So what do you want to keep doing and what do you want to stop doing? All right, Tomas says he wants to sail blue in bigger waves. Sail, I don't know what you mean by that. You mean you want to sail in bigger waves. Max wants to lose some weight, get the fitness back on track, and forward loop. Sounds good. Those are good goals. Those are good goals. I've been in a good, well, since I've been sick, I haven't been training, but before that, I've been in a good routine with my fitness. And Cedric, who's been on the live stream before and is a member of the group, has been helping me with that. So he's a strength and conditioning coach, and he's set me up with a routine that I've been following for the last 6 weeks, and that's been really good. Hey, Greg, Happy New Year. What are my goals? What are my goals? I asked the question, but I'm not sure if I've really had the time to reflect on it. In terms of my own windsurfing, the competitions, doing all of the World Cup competitions, hasn't been bringing me much happiness, and so I'm going to focus less on them. And I would like to focus more on sailing in conditions that I really like Hokipa, and really following the kind of windsurfing and wave sailing that brings me a lot of joy and isn't necessarily what I have to train for to do well with the judges on the world tour. So it's a different kind of windsurfing, and I want to show that. So one of my goals this year is to do a video of my approach to windsurfing in Pozo, because a lot of how I've trained for Pozo is related to what the judges want to see, but how actually I really like to windsurf in Pozo is different, and I want to make a video showing what that looks like. That's one of the things I want to do. Thank you, Eric. So Greg wants to do the forward on both tacks, back loops as well. Sounds right on. I mean, you were working on the forward loops, Greg. When we did the forward loop pack, you were seemed like you were making some good progress. Where are you now with the forwards? Hello to Facebook. Still at the restaurant after a good surf, and will rewatch later. Landed the first goose crew in water start position. Is that Caro? I hope it's Caro. Right on. Or who is this on Facebook? Nice. Marius says he wants to work on the forward and continue making his tacks more solid. Hans says he had a great winter session last week and more coming soon. Bom ano novo. Rich's goal said, hey, Rich, goal is to sail away from a forward and even do a little stalled one, maybe, tabletop, maybe, and better aerials. Those are great goals. You guys nailing the goals. I've also got some more goals with the coaching. So I want to expand the virtual coaching. So the Vulcan course, and then I have a few other courses planned. And then once they're done, so the way I've done this before is that we do the course and then it's done. But I want them to sort of live online. So you can do it live with me, like we've done the other courses, or you can access it after the fact, just to make it more accessible for people. And then taking this strategy that I've learned about teaching, because I think I've learned a lot about how to teach virtually, I want to bring in some other coaches as well. So it's not just me, which hopefully will broaden what is possible for you guys. But let's see where all that goes. That's all a work in progress. All of the things I've said are a bit more meta, like focusing on doing the windsurfing that I like to do, not the windsurfing that the judges want to do. I don't know if I have any specific moves I want to learn. I'd have to reflect on that. I'd like to do more wave tricks at Hokipa. I used to really do a lot of tricks in the waves, and that was one of the things that I was famous for, and I did a lot of. But then I got really focused on working on my turns. My board shapes got longer, and I was working on different boards and working on different things. I'd like to do some more tricky stuff. I think that would be fun for the new year. Hans wants to improve his bottom turn style. Nice. Facebook user wants to improve the wave riding. All of those sound good. All right, I'm going to load up the Facebook group and we can start going through what was posted during the week. I don't think there was a whole lot posted because of all the holidays and everything, but we'll go through it. And you guys keep telling me your goals for the new year. I love to hear it. Just get the group loaded up. All right, here we go. And pardon my voice. I was so sick. I don't know what day it was, maybe the 28th. I was in bed. I must have slept for 18 hours. I was just wiped out. I was a zombie. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even watch Netflix while lying in bed. It was terrible. Greg also had the flu. Hope you're feeling better. You want more jumps in 2023. Sounds good. One of the things that I try to communicate in all of these courses, which I think is difficult, it's a difficult concept to really wrap your head around. But it's really actively seeking out conditions more than you normally do. And so it's driving that extra 20 minutes or for a certain period of the year, not making any extra plans because you want to just be open in case it's windy. And that can be really useful for getting on the water more. Hey, Steen, Happy New Year. Hey, Alexis, Happy New Year. It's so great that everyone is joining 1st of January. Uh, you guys are awesome. I want to hear if you know them. Otherwise, I'm going to do a post in the Facebook group anyway about this. But if you know your goals for 2023, what are they, and how are they influenced by your 2022 windsurfing? What did you like? What did you not like? Happy New Year to Santa Cruz. Yeah, it'd be great to have you on Maui. Steen says lots of wind here, lots of hours on the water, like every year between Xmas and New Year's Eve. That's awesome. All right, so Jeff says this year in Cape Town, trying to target lips. I really want to get the basics of aerials. I'm feeling stronger and less intimidated by getting worked and learning to roll with the punches. Sounds good. What are the component parts leading up to an aerial that I can concentrate on? I'm trying to go fast directly down the wave, and sometimes I can, sometimes I lose control. Not sure why. I've hit a few sections, only once felt the smack of a high five. So you're right on the money. It's all about speed. Speed, speed, speed is your friend. Speed and timing are two the two factors you want to look for. So, as you've already identified, speed is huge. Cape Town is a great spot to work on aerials, especially the beaches that have side off winds like Sunset or Scarborough, where you're able to travel down the line. Some of the other beaches, Hackett, Mouth Boss, also are good. Less good, maybe, than Sunset or Scarborough Beach because the wind isn't as offshore. So you don't have as much speed. You're not really traveling into the lip as much. And then the other thing is you really want to look for the lips that are curling, get your board inside it, and get that high five smack. And so this wave that you've posted, the lip isn't offering you the potential for an aerial. This isn't aerial potential. The other thing that the offshore wind does is it causes the wave to stand up longer and curl longer, which then creates more potential for a frontside aerial. So it's a lot about timing. Jeff, if you can get a session at sunset and get it filmed, that would be really useful for this coaching. I know a few people down in Cape Town who can film or do photos. It doesn't actually have to be filmed. It could just be photographed as if we have sequences, but that would be really useful uh, for your journey. But speed and timing are the two components for the aerial. We've talked about aerials a lot, Jeff, and I would like to get you doing them. So let's get a sequence. All right, moving on. All right, we've got a few goals. So Steen says the goal for 23 is landing back loops. Alexa says the goal is to nail a planing foil jibe. Ooh, that sounds tough. Charles, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? We haven't had you on the stream in a while. We were talking about the four loop course. Charles was one of the stars of the four loop course that we did. And now he wants to nail Vulcans. We're going to do a Vulcan course. Nice. Nice. And Shovets actually we could do a course on too. Shovets are pretty easy to learn. You can break them down. So I should write that down. Shovet course. You need the nice thing with Vulcans is you can do them pretty much in most conditions that you can windsurf. Shovets, you need a bit more wind. All right, Jeff, does that make sense with the timing and what you're looking for? All right, let's move on. Jan says that he highly recommends this channel. Okay, we'll check out this channel to study different wave riding styles, including tail riding and clue catching. Some of the riders are actually very good, and the editing is great. Here's windsurfing from Omiyazaki. I love Omiyazaki. I love windsurfing in Japan. The video is randomly chosen. All right, let's check it out. I don't know what this is. This is an ad. All right, skip the ad. Yeah, Omiyazaki, this is one of the famous windsurfing spots in the world. This is in Japan. I love windsurfing there. I've got a few videos from windsurfing in Japan in Omiyazaki. And it can be difficult. This looks like one of the more difficult days. Yeah, I want to go back to Japan. Cool. Yeah, it's great watching footage like this. We don't have to watch it on the live stream right now, but it's a great exercise to analyze other riders because highly edited pro clips aren't so good for that. Cool. Thank you. All right, here we've got a 360 sequence from Jonah. And boy, you get close, Jonah. This is close. This is very close. I was going through this before the stream, trying to figure out what is wrong here. And this is tricky. You're pretty close. The wave doesn't throw very much. I mean, the thing with wave 360s is after you get the basic rotational technique, landing it back inside the wave is all about placement and timing. And not every wave has enough push to get you back inside. It's hard for me to tell with the amount of push that this wave has. There's definitely more power over here than over here. And so I wondered if you had a much more vertical approach, which then is a different style of 360. So I don't know if you're comfortable with that. But if instead of coming here, if you were coming right next to the white water and hitting this part, I think you get more projection. And that might be just a little bit of extra projection that you need to make it back into the wave. One thing that you can think about is really sheeting out more aggressively and leaning in to the turn more. So you're doing a few things that are really right here. You're keeping this front arm close to your body. You are sheeting out, and your body is not out here. It's over the board. You can lean more into the turn and sheet out more, and also have a wider grip. And that would help you hit this section here rather than here. And it looks like there's more force in the wave right here, which will help give you that extra bit of projection. But otherwise, you're super close. But I think trying to come more vertical might be useful, Jonah. I mean, you've got a nice technique. The other thing to try would be the exact opposite, which would be to go actually less vertical. And so then you're hitting it more like a down the line aerial. And that also, for even on the section that you're hitting, will make it easier for you to come back inside the wave. So those are the two options, and they're opposites of each other. I don't know if that's surprising. Yeah, it's a little bit surprising. But coming around extra vertical might feel more natural. All right, you're in the chat. Oh, I missed that. I was looking at your sequence. Cool. So that wave was in the process of collapsing into a mush burger. Hey, happy New Year, Mika. All right, so Jonah. Hey, Ragnar. Jonah, so talk with me here. So which of those, so I gave two sort of opposite bits of advice. Which of those seem to make the most sense to you? And so just to recap them again. One is exaggerating the sheet out and leaning more into the circle of the turn so that you're trying to hit the section here. And the other is to go more down the line so that the angle of your board, instead of pointing out like this, is pointing something more like this. So that you're hitting it kind of like a frontside aerial. So you don't have so much momentum that's going out the back of the wave. Both of those are methods to help get you back inside the wave. I think trying to go a little bit more vertical is maybe the ticket, but the way to do that is to really lean inside the circle. Often your feeling is like you're having to push the gear into the wave and you end up leaning outside the circle of the turn. That doesn't help. All right, Jonah says that he's had more success with the down the line types. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I still think it's worth trying the really vertical ones. Let me see. Let me see if I can find. There's a video that I did with different kinds of 360s. Let me see if I can find that really quickly. Show you a few examples. Yeah, so Okay. All right, so you guys should be able to see this. Yeah, I would keep trying them vert. So like to do them vert. So this is a vert one. You guys can see this, right? This is working. Yeah. All right. So with the vert ones, it's important to really sheet out. So see how aggressively I'm sheeting out, and also how much I'm really leaning into the turn. So I'm really leaning. So if you think of the radius of this turn, I'm really leaning into that turn, and it feels so much more dramatic than it looks. Like here, it looks like I'm kind of just upright over the board, but it feels like I'm really dramatically leaning my body like here, keeping this front arm close to the hips, like you're doing, and really sheeting out. You can have a wider grip, which will give you more control over the sail. It also will help that transition because there's a point where then you pull in the sail and push it out with the front hand. And the wider your grip is, the more control you have over that. So here, this is a vertical kind, all about the timing, getting inside that lip. The lip comes around, and then here I start to really sheet in and come down with the lip. But the wave is really doing a lot of the work. Here's another one that's a vertical kind. Again, really leaning inside the radius of that turn, keeping the front arm close to the hip and sheeting out, coming into the breaking part of the wave, letting the wave do the work. Here, this is a more down the line one. And so this is a very similar one to your takeoff. Uh, but again, getting that wave so that it's pushing you is really, really important. And I think I'm taking off a little bit more down the line than you are. Here, let me try and get it paused at that moment. So if we go back to your photo, I think I'm a touch more down the line. Not actually that much. If we go to the next picture. So I'm sheeting out longer. So you're starting to sheet in here. I mean, there it looks like you're sheeting out, but I can tell here that you start sheeting in. I think you want to really sheet out a long time in the Wave 360. I've had this discussion with Thomas Traversa, and his theory is that in onshore Wave 360s, you want to sheet in really early. But I think he's doing something a little bit different. Like what most people need to do is sheet out way longer than they think, because that helps you get through the eye of the wind. So you can think of the 360 like a clue first back loop. And in fact, Jonah, this is a good exercise to do. Jibe on the inside, stay clue first, and try to pop a little clue first back loop off the waves. And you'll see that you need to really push out with the clue, stay sheeted out to get through the wind, and then you can start guiding the sail around. And the 360 has a really similar dynamic. So Tomas is asking how much back foot pressure on the vertical ones. Yeah, quite a bit of back foot pressure because you're really leaning into that circle and really trying to come around into the wave. Let's go back to this. And I'm really sheeting in sort of at the end. I'm not sheeting out that much earlier. Here, this one is even more down the line. I mean, look at how down the line I'm taking off of this. I mean, the board is going pretty much straight down the line, sheeting out. Start sheeting in there, actually, it looks like. But really down the line. You can go so down the line on these, and that's how you get the nice sort of planey landings. Here's another super vertical one. Again, you can see this is an interesting angle for the sheeting in. You can see that sheeting out, sheeting out, sheeting out, sheeting out, sheeting out, sheeting out, and then there I start to sheet in. Boom. Here's another one. Sheeting out, sheeting out, sheeting out, sheeting in. All right, here's a crash. I don't know if that one is applicable. So here is a vertical one, but instead of aiming into the curl, I'm aiming above the wave. That's why I get projected way up top and I don't come around inside the wave. So instead of putting the board here, the board needs to go here, actually. And then it would have been a make. But instead I get all that projection off the top. This one, I missed the high five. So you can see that the wave is throwing, but I'm already on top of it. My board is on top of it. So I missed that high five moment. Jonah, are you familiar with my high five concept that I use for aerials and 360s and cutbacks and everything? Tomas, do I push down on the front hand on the landing? It depends. I think not really. I'm not aggressively pushing down too much. But so this one, I missed the high five. It screws up the whole thing. This next one, so very down the line. Kind of getting the high five a little bit early, but landed inside, but just can't hold the fins. A little bit later would have been better on that one. Here I'm leaning too much outside the circle. So this is a good example of leaning outside the circle and not cheating out enough on the entry. The two kind of go hand in hand, and then that just screws up the rotation. This one, yeah, I mean, we don't have to keep going through my 360s. All right, is that clear, Jonah? Do you have an idea of what to work on for the 360s? This is a great sequence. It'd be great if you could work on doing one of those two things, either going a little bit more down the line or coming around more. And I think coming around more is where you want to be for now. I think it's an interesting exercise. So trying to hit these sections and really focusing on that bowl and trying to come up really vertical into it. Cheat it out, wider grip, really leaning into that turn. All right, more 360 video. This is from Steve Thorpe. Steve, I don't know if you're watching this, but right on. Love to see you ripping. Steve Thorpe is the man behind K4 Fins. If you didn't know, now you know. And Steve has been working on his Wave 360s, and these are getting closer. The main issue with these Steves is, wow, that was a nice turn. I like that turn. Look at this. Hit that little section. Boom, a high five. So the main issue with these is the placement on the wave. This is, most of these are not 360 sections that you're going for. So like this, you're going into the section. That's hard to do the 360 on a section like that. Same with this one too. These are really difficult sections to do 360s, and I think that's kind of my main takeaway here. Your technique looks fine. I mean, there's a few little things we could talk about, like here. I want to see you leaning more into the circle and less like you're winding up to do the Waimaru, and I want to see you flow with it a little bit more. So keep that sail open and sort of just carve into the wave and let the wave do the work for you. So the wave does so much of the work in the 360. Same with the aerial. Let the wave do the work for you. So look for the sections. And generally, you want to be going with the wave, not against the wave. And if you're kind of muscling your body too much, that can get in the way of letting the wave's power connect with your board. Does that make sense? Yeah, the sections are so important for the 360. It's all about the section and then your placement on that section. And so with a lot of 360 sections, Or a lot of waves, they just don't even offer the possibility to do a 360. And that's a difference with goiters or takas, which you can kind of force on most waves. But the 360, it really needs a particular section. I like this turn. Bam! Really throw that thing. But yeah, that's the biggest issue with these ones. It's not the right section. Yeah. All right, let's move on. All right, here we go. Another sequence from Steve. This is closer. I mean, this is a closeout, but this section isn't bad. You can make it. You can make a 360 on this section, and this one is a lot closer than the other ones. You make it really in front. Uh, it's a closeout section. It's not ideal for the 360, but it can work. But what I want you to do is to let the wave do more of the work. And in order to do that, you want to sheet out more. So by sheeting in so early and trying to get that goose screw whip, it disconnects you from the wave. And you want an extra half second or second of push from the wave, which will get you rotating faster and projected more in front of the wave at the same time. So it's that sheet out and really leaning into the circle and just trusting the wave to push you. So keeping that arm extended, sheeted out, carving into the wave, into the lip, just like you did. But then instead of winding up to do that pull and push, which then gets you the whip from the sail, let the wave push you and then carry you around. And 360s, often you don't feel the same force in the sail as you do with the goose screws, where you land off the back, where then you feel a lot more force in the sail because the wave is doing the work, not the sail. Does that make sense? But I like to see this. This is good, Steve. All right, question about Insta360s. I have the X2 model, right? Yes. Okay, so some of these need to be used in the water. Yeah, I've got the X2, doesn't need a case, but I'm not sure. So if you're an expert on Insta360s, if you have one, if you use one and like it, respond to this post from Johan. Hans, hey, Happy New Year, Jonah. Thanks for joining us. Hans just got a carbon boom and loves it. I've been saying for years that carbon booms are one of the best things you can do to improve your windsurf kit, your windsurfing experience. I struggle to windsurf on aluminum booms. The times that I have to windsurf on an aluminum boom are a struggle. So I'm super into the carbon boom. I also think that carbon booms over time are a better financial decision. You have to take care of them, but aluminum booms don't last that long under heavy use, and a carbon boom can last for 15 years. You might have to change the grip, but it'll last if you take care of it. All right, Chris Lee went out at Coronation Beach on his new sails. Wow, busting some nice forwards. Cool. Thanks for sharing, Chris. This looks awesome. All right, Kevin posted about travel board bags, and he's trying to find the right board bag for travel, airline travel. The number one thing, I think, or one of the things, and maybe it's not the number one thing, and I know that some people don't like this, and Jeff says he can't because of his back, but it's to get bags without wheels because wheels add a lot of weight. Wheels add 10 pounds, 3.5 kilos already from the start. Like the Decline World Traveler is 10 kilos. And so if you're allowed 23 kilos, like some airlines, that means that half of your weight is already taken up by your bag. The best bags, in my opinion, are the gray Cobra bags that Cobra makes for the board brands. And I don't know if those are sold on the open market. If someone is interested, I could get you one in Europe. But yeah, maybe they're sold on the open market. I should check actually. Uh, but a lot of times the bags the pros have are a little bit different. I think these Maui Fin Company bags are also good. I've used one of these before. They're a little bit heavier than the Cobra bags, but that's because they have more protection. So it's maybe fine. This is a good method with the carts, so you can put the bags on top to get them around airports. I kind of end up just dragging mine. Depends on the airport. Some airports have carts with the wheels that swivel, and then they're pretty easy. Uh, yeah, but I think that the wheels they add a lot of weight, or I don't think that I know that the wheels add a lot of weight. So if you're trying to maximize the amount of gear to take, you have to forego wheels. I'm curious what bags you guys like. What's your favorite windsurfing travel bag? Interesting discussion. All right, Eric is working on the Vulcan, and Anders gave him a tip. Basically, you have to be centered over the board and able to pop correctly. Also, your sail should be neutral to not put pressure on the mast foot, which makes it harder to pop. So the progression tip was to do the pop one-handed and not hooked in. This was a nice exercise during the day. Yeah, that's cool. It gets you doing the pop, I think, correctly because you're not leaning back too much. But when you do the Vulcan, it is also important to sheet in, which then gets the rotation going. So it's a good breakdown of the move. Helps you gets that pop. But then that sheet in is also helpful. All right, John is going to Maui in April. Congrats, John. Trying to work on his trip. If you have some Maui tips, you can put it here. Mika posted an overview from the year. Cool. Tomas has a question about Quattro versus Goya waveboards. I haven't used either in ages, so you guys have better feedback than I have. It looks like there's some discussion here. Steen is going to Portugal in the summer, wants to get the gear back from Portugal to the Netherlands, and is looking at cargo services. I have no idea. I always just fly in with my gear. So I have no idea. Does anyone know? I don't know. Merry Christmas, Mika. And just like that, we're caught up. Wow, that wasn't so bad. And I still have my voice, even though I kind of lost it a few days ago. So I don't know if that counts. All right, I'm going to say good night, good day, bon voyage, good wind, and I'll see you next week. I want you to think about your goals, windsurfing goals for 2023. I'm going to do a post in the main Facebook group, and that is a good place to share your goals. I think sharing the goals is important because one, it holds you accountable. And if you're feeling more accountable, it's more likely that you will achieve your goals. And two, it's inspiring. It's inspiring for other people because we all love windsurfing. We all want to get better. We all want to have fun. But sometimes it's hard to come up with goals, to realize what those goals actually are. So look out for that thread in the Facebook group and reflect on your goals. Write about them there. I'll see you guys all next week. I hope it's windy. I hope I have my voice back and I'm not all congested next time we see each other. Take care. Have a good week. Tschüss.